Is ProWritingAid a good choice if you're looking for a grammar checker or a writing assistant? Hi there, my name is Brian Collins and welcome to the Become a Writer Today channel. In this video review of ProWritingAid, I'm going to walk through how I'm using this tool to check my writing and explain what I use it for. I'll also talk about some of the things or the pros about ProWritingAid and some of the things or the cons that I dislike about this particular tool. Hopefully, my video review and walkthrough will help you figure out how you can fit ProWritingAid into your writing workflow. Hope you enjoyed the content in this video. If you do, hit thumbs up, and if you want to get more videos like this or about the writing process, please don't forget to subscribe to the Become a Writer Today channel. If you're not familiar with ProWritingAid, it's basically a grammar checker, style editor, and writing mentor or assistant all in one package. In other words, it should help you find and fix more errors than Microsoft Word or Google Docs, learn about the writing process, and get something ready for publication much faster than a traditional spell checker or grammar checker. Now, I've been a ProWritingAid premium customer for years, and I consider it a key part of my writing workflow, specifically for long-form writing projects. ProWritingAid costs $79 per month, or $79 per year. But you can take out a trial and use ProWritingAid for free for up to 500 words. It integrates with some popular writing apps, including Microsoft Word. You can use it with Outlook. You can use it as a Chrome extension, as extension for other popular browsers like Firefox and Edge. And you can also use it to check your Scrivener documents, which is something I particularly like. You can use ProWritingAid directly within your web browser, but I prefer using it on the desktop app. I have opened the ProWritingAid Desktop App, and I've written an article in Ulysses, which I also review in Become a Writer Today channel. Now, this is my preferred writing workflow. I'm just going to paste the document in so I can show you the reports, but there are some other writing workflows which I'll show you later in the video review. So I've pasted in the article. ProWritingAid will take a moment to scan it. Then I can click on the reports section, and you can see here there's lots of different reports that you can go through. So I usually go to make sure real time is turned on. And then what I'll do is go through each of these line by line and figure if I want to change them. So here's one here. It's saying non-fungible tokens minted and sold every day. And it's saying that I mean every day. So yes, I did. So I will simply accept this change. Now it's saying that I'm missing a comma. So I will accept this change. And basically, I will work my way through the document, clicking on all of the blue links for grammar issues and the red underlines, sorry, not links, for spelling mistakes, and either accept or reject the suggestions. So that's the first way you can use ProWritingAid, and that's probably the easiest way to do it. Alternatively, you can click on reports and you can just simply click on grammar. ProWritingAid will take a second to load up this report. Then you can click down here and you can see all of the potential grammar mistakes, and you can navigate to them directly in the article. So let's find a grammar mistake. So passes. So I can click here and go to passes. Others are passes. So this is actually correct. So in this case, I'm happy with this one. So I'm just going to click correct. Let's look at bots. So in this case, I'm missing a full stop. So I'm going to make this change. And you can see here, ProWritingAid strikes this out. So you may notice that I've rejected one suggestion and accepted another. Is that a criticism of ProWritingAid? No, because I've tested grammar checkers extensively. And I can tell you that these are all incredibly useful tools. But as the writer, as somebody who understands the style guide for the publication in question and the topic, you need to make a decision about what makes sense for your article. So don't take them as gospel. They're simply a tool that belong in your writing toolbox. So what I would do is work through all of these grammar mistakes in the article if I wanted to get it ready quickly and easily, and either accept or reject the suggestions. The other report that I like to use, which is helpful for copy editors and also helpful for polishing your later drafts, is the Overused Words report. So you just simply go to reports or click here and look for overused words. It'll take a second to scan your documents. So I have a review that I pasted into ProWritingAid, and it's telling me that I've overused the word watch or various versions of the word watch in the article. So it's telling me that I need to remove at least 7 occurrences of this word in the article to make it, I suppose, a bit more engaging for readers. And I can already see 2 here at the start, so that's probably a good suggestion for ProWritingAid. ProWritingAid is primarily for checking or grammar checking and improving English. My tip for you is to check the settings of where you're writing or who you're writing for. So you can change from British English to American English, US English, Australian and Canadian. It'll default to general English, which means it'll pick up most issues, but you may want to pick US English or British English depending on where your audience is. You can also use or change the document type, and this will kind of change how ProWritingAid surfaces information in its reports. To be honest, I don't use this much. I'm just happy to go ahead and paste stuff into ProWritingAid and use the individual reports rather than changing the document type. So I don't believe this makes a huge impact on the types of reports that it will surface, at least not for the grammar checker and for the spell checker. I write most of my long form writing projects in Scrivener, and one of the things I love about ProWritingAid is I can edit my long form Scrivener projects in ProWritingAid and then save the changes back into Scrivener. So I have here open a Scrivener file that has some obvious errors. So let me open up this in ProWritingAid. So I'll simply go over to ProWritingAid, click File, Open File. I will look for the file in question, click Open, save whatever I have. Now I'm going to click Continue. And you can see here that it's copied over the structure of the Scrivener file, or should I say it can read it. So now I've got some mistakes. It's challenging with a D, so I'm going to click on Reports, turn on Real Time. ProWritingAid will just take a second to scan it. So I'm going to fix this and fix this. So for the purposes of this review, I'm just going to fix the first 3 mistakes. Now I'm going to click Save. And if I was editing a book chapter, I would take some time to go through overused words, readability, and potentially cliches as well. And then when I'm done, I will simply click Save, close out of this. And now if I open back up the Scrivener file, you can see that it saved the changes back into Scrivener. So in summary, if you've written a book or something longer in Scrivener, you can do all of this before you send your work to an editor. And this could potentially reduce the amount of time or money you spend working with an editor on your writing projects. Now, if you're watching this video, you may be thinking, I don't really want to be copying and pasting my articles into ProWritingAid. I just want to write in my writing app of choice, like Word or Google Docs. And I get that because every writer has a different workflow. A lot of writers I know these days simply like to use Google Docs because it's a great way of collaborating with editors and other people on their team. The good news is you can just install ProWritingAid like a Chrome plugin, or if you're a business, you can install ProWritingAid for everybody who's in your using your Google account. Then you just simply go over to ProWriting or to Google Docs and you just edit your article directly in Google Docs. So I pasted in an article that has a couple of mistakes, and so I can show you how this works. So here's one here, which is pretty obvious, but rather than it being a Google Docs suggestion, it's actually a ProWritingAid suggestion. So in this case here, it's actually dive in. So again, you do need to make your own call about some of these things. What is masterclass? This is actually the table of contents, so that to me is fine. So here's one here. A cooking enthusiast can learn how to incorporate sea urchin and white truffle into scrambled eggs from a great chef in Gordon Ramsay's masterclasses. So this sentence is fine, but because I've installed ProWritingAid, it's suggesting something that Google Docs wouldn't pick up on, which is a writing improvement. So this is particularly good if you like to just edit your work directly in Google Docs rather than messing around with different writing apps of choice. That said, if you're on the go, you can just go over to the ProWritingAid website. And they do have a web editor. You can just paste your articles in there as well. ProWritingAid does work in the same way with Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook if you install the plugin. So this is a good way of editing your work like this on the go. Now, when I wrote my review, I did get some questions from writers about the app. So the first thing is, can you use ProWritingAid offline? Well, no, you do need to have an internet connection to use it. So do bear that in mind. And you need the internet connection to run the app on your computer or on the desktop. It is completely safe after you submit an analysis, so you don't need to worry about your work being plagiarized. But I guess if you're working on something that's incredibly commercially sensitive, you might want to talk to a legal member in your company. You can get a refund, so you can try for 500 words or risk-free for 14 days and they'll give you your money back. Yes, they do have Chrome extensions, which I've covered. And I do have a discount as well for ProWritingAid. It's an affiliate link, so I'll include information about that in the notes below the video. And I've already talked about the integrations, but it is available with Word, Outlook, Google Docs, and Final Draft. I use it primarily with Google Docs and with Scrivener and via the desktop app. So like I said, I've been using ProWritingAid for a few years. My key takeaway from this particular writing tool is that it's incredibly useful if you spend time copy editing, if you write fiction, and if you use writing apps like Scrivener. Obviously, its biggest competitor is Grammarly, and they're both good. I actually use both of these grammar checkers in different ways. And if you want to see how I use Grammarly, I have a video on the channel. The only con I would say with ProWritingAid is that the number of reports can become overwhelming. So there's over 20 different reports here, which is really helpful on one hand if I'm taking time to craft perfect sentences. But if I want to get something out there and quickly and easily, you can take a little bit of time to figure out what reports to use. So my recommendation would be to use the grammar report, the style report, and then if you have time, use the readability report and maybe check for cliches, and then you'll have something that you're happy to publish. I hope you enjoyed this ProWritingAid review. It's a tool that I use almost every day, and one that belongs in every serious writer's toolbox. If you use ProWritingAid, you can create something that you're happy to publish or send to an editor faster. Or alternatively, if you're an editor, you can use it to vet work by other writers. If you did enjoy the content in this video review, hit thumbs up. And to get more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.